If we look to the New Testament, we find it in many places. I'll name one for you. The book of Mark. The second book is called Mark, and you will find this in chapter 12, verse 29. And they said to Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? There are many commandments. What's the greatest one? He said, to know, O Israel, the Lord your God is one Lord. And you have to love him with all of your strength and all of your mind and all of your heart. That's the greatest commandment. Does that sound like the same thing we have? Do we have to love Allah more than anything else? So what's the problem? Isn't it strange when we think about it that these three religions actually have one basic teaching? And we see what the human beings do? Strange, isn't it? But still, the condition of the believer is going to be okay. It's going to be okay as long as he does these two things. Thankful for what you get from Allah and patient for the part that's hard for you. And he concluded by saying, peace be upon him, but this is good for him, but it's only in the case of the believer. Why only in the case of the believer? Because only the believer understands that either way it goes, I'm okay. Many human beings, intellectuals, people that claim to be pretty smart, they have degrees, many degrees. Bachelor's degree, Bachelor of the Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master's degrees, PhD degrees, so many degrees. I tell the brothers, you like degrees? Go to the drugstore, buy a thermometer. It has many degrees. But how smart is it for a person? How smart is it for a person that they ignore something very obvious? Every human being is going to do the exact same thing. There's one thing that every single human, every soul is going to do. I don't care who they are, they're all going to do it. What is it? They're going to die. Everybody's going to die. How could you forget that? You're supposed to be smart. And if you know you're going to die, do you know when you're going to die? No. So if you don't know when you're going to die, but you know you're going to die, then why would you spend all of your energy, all of your life, working on building up something you know for sure you're not going to get to keep? That's not very smart, is it? The smart one is the one who knows how to use this life to the best advantage in the few minutes that he has before it's all gone. And one thing, and we'll come back to the subject of the children, one thing that's very important is to bring them up in the truth. Why? Once I was given a lecture in Indiana, in university, and I was explaining to them how important the truth is, and I could tell they weren't really paying attention. So I just came with something kind of tough. I'm from Texas, we do stuff like this, you know. And I said, you know, you guys, you've been living around lies and liars all your life. They looked at, it was election year, some years back, and people were talking about politicians telling the truth and so on. And so they were kind of offended. They said, what? I said, yeah, you grew up in lies. Your mother lied to you. Whoa, your father lied to you, your grandmother, your grandparents, your uncles and aunts and cousins, your teachers and your preachers, all of them lying to you. You should see their faces. Some of them like, no, no. I said, in fact, you're liars. You lie. Ooh. I said, no, it's true. I'll prove it. How old were you? How old were you when you found out there was no Santa Claus? And they couldn't look up. They knew because they'd been through it. I've been through it. And I told them. It happened to me. I remember it very well, by the way. I was coming home from school. I was really upset. I ran into the house. My mother was washing some dishes, and I said, Mother, what's the matter? It was December. She said, what's the matter? I said, the children in school, they said there's no Santa Claus. She didn't even look up. She said, don't tell your sisters. I don't know if you saw a movie called Star Wars. I always think my mother went over to the dark side. She's with the enemies, you know. Of course there's a Santa Claus, you know. We moved to a house when I was younger. We moved to a house that was like a big trailer, had no chimney. And I was worried because, again, it was December. I said, Mom, how are we going to live in this house? I said, what? I said, it's time for Christmas. How's Santa Claus going to get in here? We don't have a chimney. Santa Claus has to go on the chimney. She said, well, he can come through the oven, the stove. I'm thinking, man, I hope his outfit is fireproof. This is sad, you know. And what about the reindeer? How are they going to land on this mobile home place? They could cave in, you know. And I don't know what they're going to do up there. I mean, I don't want to clean it up. And what about, you know, this rabbit in the colored eggs? What's that all about? Have you ever seen a rabbit lay eggs at all? Never mind colored eggs. This is strange stuff. And they're telling them this stuff every year. They say, look how much fun they have running around, you know, on Easter morning, and they got their little basket. Oh, there's an egg over there. There, Easter Bunny left you an egg in here and here. And the children are buying it because it's fun, you know, enjoying, and they don't ask themselves, how is it possible? But here's what happens. After you lie to the children enough, and especially connected with religion, then when you try to tell them the truth, how will they believe you? How difficult is it for a child to believe in the miracle birth of Jesus, peace be upon him? Jesus, peace be upon him, was born with no father. Right away they're going to go, okay, yeah, right, and there's no Santa Claus and Easter Bunny, forget about it. Right or wrong? How are you going to convince them after you told them all these lies? Jesus, peace be upon him, did many miracles. A person with skin disease was cured. A blind man could see again. Crippled man could walk again. And even a dead person came back to life. How do you justify that? Simple. Just another story. And then when you begin to talk about some of the other stories, Moses, parting of the Red Sea. Nah, how is the sea going to open up? And people go, I don't buy that. Huh? And the miracle of the stick that Moses had, and how he threw it down and it became a snake. They just go, you know. So when we tell them about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the miracle of the Quran, and we just heard a beautiful lecture tonight talking about the medicines and the things, the miracles of Islam that nobody could have understood 1400 years ago. You could not have imagined these things even 100 years ago that we know today, but confirmed in Quran and in the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How could you imagine all of this? But today, if you told a child, well, you know, we have some indication, for instance, that we're reaching very close to the last days. They go, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. No, we have prophecy about it. It's very close. We don't know when, but it's getting closer every day. Yeah,